Happy Wednesday, y'all. Today I'm going to do some breaking down a few things. So I'm going to break down kind of the tool stack we use, right? Somebody always asks, like, what tools do you need to get started in land investing? And I get that question a lot. So I wanted to today kind of focus a little bit on that and just kind of go over the whole process from A to Z of land investing, right? So what is land investing? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? What tools do we need to get started? That's kind of what I want to focus on today. So if you're here, you most likely know what land investing is, right? Land investing is basically we're purchasing properties, vacant land. There's different types of subclasses of types of vacant land, but what we're doing is we're purchasing vacant land, and then we're doing a few things. We're either buying it at a discount and then marketing it the correct way and reselling it. That's one. Two, we're subdividing it, improving the value by maybe clearing a little home site, doing things like that. All different types of things to improve the value. Sometimes we subdivide it, minor and major subdivides, whatever it is. Now, the goal is obviously to buy low, sell high. That's what we do. So there's a couple steps in this process when we're doing this kind of stuff. And most people know, if you guys are watching me, you probably know who Sumner is and who I am. And you know a lot of the tools, but I just wanted to reiterate kind of some of the tools that we use to do this. So before we get started, hey, Mike, what's up, man? So before we get started, I wanted to first, this is right now. So if you guys don't know, I went through a Zero to Hero program with Sumner, and we recorded every single step in the process. Right now, it's still 80% off right here to get this. So for $500, pretty much learn everything you need to know about being a land investor, A to Z. And then when you're ready to actually become a pro, then you hop right over to here. And this is our Leah group coaching program. This is like the program. Okay. This is the best right here. This is where we learn, you communicate with everybody. You're in a private Discord, talk to everybody. It's awesome. So book a strategy call. You talk to somebody about it. Totally worth it. Honestly, it's going to teach you everything you need to know. This is the actual Leah program. You can see here how many insane amount of modules there are to even watch. It is ridiculous. So it's insane how much information is here. Here is the 90 days Zero to Hero. Here's all the lessons broken down. Here's recorded seller calls. Here are discounted tools and all that stuff. Everything like that. So it's all here, which is awesome. You guys have full access to everything. We recorded these videos and pretty much kept them raw. There's no fluff. It's just us riffing, talking, and boom, that's that. So it works out pretty damn well. So you guys are going to love this. So, all right, cool. So let's do this. Now, what's the first few steps in land investing, right? Obviously, the first step we're going to really need is market selection, right? How do we pick a market to flip land in? So a lot of different ways. You could go through countless hours of pulling data from Redfin. You're extracting the data from Redfin. What you're going to do is you're going to type in a county, right? So let's say I'm going to pick a random county. Let's just say Wake County, North Carolina. Okay. So go here, and we're going to create a spreadsheet. And what we'd have to do, we'd have to go into filters. We're going to go sold. We're going to look at just the land. We're going to look at, you got to go, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, all that. And you're going to choose your lot sizes, 5 to no max, whatever you want to do. And you're going to see how much land is sold there. And then you're going to track it. You're going to write it down. And we're going to look at how much is sold versus how much is for sale. Okay. So right here's the for sale. So we're going to track, basically, there's 42 for sale. And in the last, 1 year, let's say, there's 118 that sold. So you would basically take the for sale to sold, and you would figure out a sell-through rate, right? And that's going to help kind of point you in the right direction to say, like, hey, this county actually has pretty good activity. This is probably a good county to do some marketing into, to buy and sell some land, right? So that's the essential, like, basics, right, of picking a market. Now, the way we were doing this and the way we did this inside the 90-day program is I went through and I picked counties all throughout the US. I went and I basically did all the counties in North Carolina, all the counties in Virginia, all the counties in Oklahoma, South Carolina, everything. And I sat there and I went to every single county, created a giant spreadsheet, and put it all on there, right? And then it would take me hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours doing that. So we hired a VA. We had a VA do it, but then he started messing up on some of inputs. So then we had to go back and double check our numbers and everything like that. And we never could get too granular with data. So flash forward, here we are with Land Insights, where all that stuff is done for us, right? So we know that. Now we could just quickly just go to Wake, and we see what the numbers are on Wake right here. So step one, this tool is going to save you so much time, hours, money, and everything like that. So this is like our go-to tool now, right, for doing this. Now you can get it done the old school way. I mean, hey, people still, there's calculators and doing math by hand, right? There's two different methods. They both get the job done. Which is faster? Obviously, the calculator, right? It's essentially what this could be. So that's step one. Step one is your market selection. Now we're going to pick a market. Once we've picked a market, we're going to have to go to step two, right? Step two is our pricing and polling markets, right? So we need a couple different things for that, right? So number one, we use Google Drive. That's where we store all our data. Let me pull up my drive. So all our data gets stored in Google Drive. It's right here. And I'll just go to county pricing. So if we go into county pricing, we have, a couple different processes we go through, scrub, price, review, price ready for mail, all that stuff. So we use Google Drive as like our sorting method, right? To kind of sort all our data, kind of be able to get all our lists prepped and everything like that. So we need Google Drive. So we need Land Insights and Redfin and Google Drive. Okay. The next thing we really need for pricing and pulling markets, we're going to need a data source, right? There's tons of them out there. People use PropStream. People could use Regrid. They use PropVine. They use all the different ones, right? And honestly, they're not the best for land, right? The most focused ones on land are going to be DataTree, right? Where you're paying per record to pull. Then when you're at scale, LandVision is your next best. Now, I'm not doing this just as an ad for like Land Insights, but like Land Insights is now going to be adding in data aggregation where you can pull data from them. So what I like about this is because it's created by Sumner and Riley and all the guys inside, we're able to kind of tweak a lot of the stuff for this. So the data we want, that's the data we're going to see, which is really awesome. That just kind of launched, so it's still in the infancy phases, but it's such an awesome product because there's a lot of different filters we could add on top of that. But anyway, so we use that. We use LandVision. There's LandVision right here. So this would be LandVision to pull data. Now, LandVision is like if you're doing at scale and you're sending 10,000 letters a month around that, that's really kind of where you want to be. Because this, I could pull unlimited data. The nice thing about this versus, the nice thing about this is I could pull unlimited data. With Land Insights, I could pull unlimited data, or if I just do the regular plan, the pay-as-you-go plan, which is just like DataTree, I could just pay per record, which is pretty cool too. Another company people use is ListSource. The data there is not as good. You want fresh data, and because you want to make sure properties haven't transferred, things like that. So in your step two is pricing and pulling markets, right? So you're going to pull the markets after you've picked them out, right? And then you're going to go pull them. After you've pulled them, you're going to pull the data from them. You're going to go here, let's say, and we're going to pull our sold data. So what's pretty cool is at the bottom of Redfin, this is why we use Redfin, you're able to download the data. So right here, right above the little ticker to move to the next pages, you could download all data, and it'll download all the sales data from here, from Redfin. And Redfin aggregates data from public record and mostly MLS. So you're able to get a real source, real pulse on all the data that's coming in and the price per acre, all that stuff um, from here, which is awesome. And we also see it when we're on Land Insights. Let's say we do see, what everything's trading for, like the median. We get to see the price per acre and everything like that. Especially if we go to a more granular size, thing like 5 to 10, we could see kind of more what things are trading for, active price per acre, all that stuff, median solds, everything like that. So we kind of see it there, but it's best to get it fresh from the source. And the newest data is obviously the best data, right? The more relevant data. So we're gonna pull that sold data, and I've done videos on this before, and I'll do some more of these where we pull data, price them, and everything like that. But I just want to focus on just the stack, the tech stack, most people would say that we really need. So we got next is our step 3, which we will go to. It's Rocket Print and Mail, or Postcard Mania. The same company, Rocket Print and Mail, Postcard Mania. We can log in here. Now, pretty cool because Postcard Mania actually has like a little bit of a CRM in a way where they kind of organize the data and stuff like that for you. So I could go here, I could go results tracker, and I could just see all the places I'm hitting, the mail we sent, everything like that. So we kind of see this. Now, obviously with this too, you got to create an offer letter and everything like that. Now we show you guys inside Leah kind of like a little bit how to do it. So you can see here, there's a lot of the most recent mail we sent. We could see what's seasoned and all that stuff, and kind of where we're at with everything. Now you could go back, 5, 4, 6, whatever. We click into this, we kind of see when stuff is being delivered. So this is still all being seasoned. So we sent this out. Mail date was 7:30, and you see we have stuff hitting all the way up to 8:12. So it's going to take a little while to season, but we could track all that stuff, which is pretty dang cool. So Postcard Mania is the main company we use for our mail, right? So we send all our mail through here, and we upload our lists from Google Drive, upload them directly to Postcard Mania. Okay. So cool. You have a functioning business, right? You've done some marketing, you've pulled some data, you've done marketing. Now leads got to come in, right? So the next thing you really need, obviously, is you need a CRM, right? So what we actually like is this is Pebble, and below we have a link for Pebble. Pebble's cool. Pebble is simple. It's a really good CRM, especially if this is your first business, right? And it's a land-focused CRM. Now, you could mail through here. You could do all that stuff if you wanted. But the nice thing we like about Pebble is the simplicity inside it, right? So we could log in. Now, it's very simple. What I'll just pull up. Let me pull up one lead card. Let's see. All right, cool. So I'll just pull up a lead card. Here's a lead card right here. So if we go into this, obviously you have all the information here. Now, what's pretty cool about Pebble is I could click into this, and I have this map. It's built into this already. So I already could see like the property. You can see this one's not a property we're going to buy. It's on the side of a mountain. This is a kind of weird property. We actually might buy this property, and the only reason why is because this guy owns like 150 acres, like surrounding this. So he owns like 100 acres that runs along the road and hits up to here. But pretty cool. But this is all inside the CRM. So once we put our stuff in here, it all lives here forever. So like anytime a lead comes in, it's here. Now, another thing we have here is if we go into our properties tab, this is every single, literally here, there are 108,000 records inside this CRM. So it's every single record we've ever pulled and priced is in here right now. So I could just go to county and I could just pick any of the counties that we mailed before. Let's say Pensacola, and I could just look at every single parcel. So let's say I wanted to just go that, and I wanted to go Oh, let's see. Let's go field. Let's go. I want to go sale day acreage. I want to say I want to do 20 acres and plus, right? Okay. So this should show me all my 20-acre plus parcels, right? Now I could click this and I could hit select all. So here's all 28, all 74 20-acre plus parcels in this county. And I could export these all into one sheet. And when I export this, okay, let's download this. I could basically take a look at this. We'll open this baby up. And let's just do this right here. Google Sheet, create share. Okay. File. So we're just going to import that sheet that I just brought in. Upload, browse. Boom. Okay, cool. So we'll bring that in here. And then, yeah, whatever. Always current sheet, import data. Okay, cool. So we're just bringing in that data, and I'll show you kind of a little bit what it looks like. So what's cool about it is Pebble is a data repository, not just the CRM. And that's so important to us because like when we want to remail stuff, we want to pull data from something else. It's all there. We don't have to go to 1,000 different Google Sheets and extract the data and everything like that. We could just bloop, throw it all into Pebble as we go. After we've priced it, after we scrubbed it, after we do all that stuff, we could just pop it into Pebble, add tags, good to go. So here you go. You can see everything. Here's the property lot, long, county name, Pemsicode, everything. All the pass-through filters are here. So you can see any, if we've had data on it, it'll be here. Now this is mailer prices that we've prepped already. You can see like here's our original mailer code that we've created. Here's our original offer pricing per acre. Here's our offer price, all that stuff. So it's all here. It's everything's on in the CRM, which is really cool, honestly. I could actually even just say, let's just say here, let's just do this. Now, I want to look at field. I just want to look at everything over 50 acres, let's say. Now, I could just look at every single parcel that I have. See, I could select all. There's 11,798 parcels in my CRM that are over 50 acres. I could also say, over 90 acres, let's just say. So there's 3,722. Perfect. So we can look at all that stuff, which is pretty dang cool if you ask me. So I really like that. Obviously, you have a ton of tags. We could tag whatever you want, create as many tags as you want too. So people, you could basically sort by tag or anything like that. So Pebble is pretty powerful. It is a simple CRM. There are a couple issues that we do face with it, but for land, it actually is a really great CRM. So we really like it. So now part of that, this next step is obviously you have to have a CRM, but you also need to have some kind of call answering service, right? So you could answer the calls yourself. Don't recommend it. You could do that, or you could use Pat Live, right? Pat Live. Pat Live is an answering service. So down below you have a link for that. Pat Live is awesome because what happens is they call in, they answer it, they send you they fill out the form for you, and then you can see right here we have like a Pat Live form. We basically get this form, but we also get a whole bunch of data from this. When they fill out the form, they'll send it in. We get an alert from our CRM, our email, all that stuff. It's uploaded to the CRM. Done. Awesome. Very simple system. So that's part of that. Now, the next step is going to be your acquisitions, right? So we use Pebble, or honestly, like another one we do recommend is Follow Up Boss, right? They're both great platforms. Pebble is geared towards land, right? That's what makes it easy. It's geared towards land. So it just makes life easy. But Follow Up Boss is great because they have tons of automations and everything like that that help you stay consistent with your follow-up and your growth. So Follow Up Boss is another great one. And then I'm going to show you this. This is a tool I think is one of the best tools for due diligence and such like that. So this is more of like your step 6. I've got a property. I think it's a deal that we could actually purchase, right? So what do you do? Well, let me look at it. So I'm going to pull up my parcel. I don't know what these, let's see what these dots are. I don't know what these parcels are. Huh. Guess these are comps for other properties. So cool. So like I could just look at everything about this property. I could go ahead, I could change my base map. I could look at the satellite picture of it. I could do 3D. I could check out everything about the property, right? Okay, look, relatively flat, dips back a little bit, nice piece of property, all that jazz. Now I could see when it last sold, how much they paid for it. Let's check for surface water. Let's check for contour lines, land use. So I could check my zoning. So right now it's zoned as vacant land. I could check all this stuff, right? I could check my soils, right? So let's say, how do I know if it's going to perk or not? Well, I don't know. Okay. So what I do, I could turn off this and I could turn on my soil overlay. Now, this is the property right here. It tells you a little bit about it, right? So it tells you soil has limited choices of plant, blah, 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 blah. It tells you a little bit about it, right? Now, if you kind of know and understand what it means, it's easier to read. But if we look at this red, Goldstone, limitations with rooting, physical conditions of these soils, such as impractical, such as drainage, pasture, improvement seeding. So basically, it's not that great. The drainage isn't that great. Now, if we go over to a place where it is red, usually typically a red, not specifically here. Usually, if it's by water, it's different. Anything that's like red, it looks like this whole county. So, like right here, pit, quarry, soil limitation subclass, cannot expect the return of civil and site benefits. Basically, it means you can't really grow anything on there. But a lot of these reds also typically mean they don't perk. Now, it's not a guarantee, but we've used it a bunch of times and we've checked it out, and we're pretty damn on the money with them that they don't perk if they're red on this map. But it's not a guarantee. So, but it just does help you when you're having a conversation with the seller that you're able to tell them, like, hey, look, I'm not sure if this is going to perk. We might not be able to put septic here, blah, 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 blah. You just sound more informed. So, pretty great overlay. So, Land ID, awesome. It's also used to be called MapRight. So, there's a link down below. MapRight's a great tool. Land ID, great tool, same tools. Now, there's a lot more you could do with this. You don't just have to just look at stuff. If you go for the higher versions and stuff like that, you could click on a parcel. Let's turn this back on, turn back parcels on. Okay. When you have like a higher version of this, let's say you could click on a parcel and you could draw maps on it. You could do whatever you want. You could add a little context. You could do all kinds of fun things on this. And then you could save maps. You could add 3D drawings and 3D views, really cool stuff. Tons of ideas you could do with this this awesome program. So Land ID is awesome. It's like $15 a month. It's cheap, 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 cheap. And then the most expensive one's like 50 or something like that. Totally worth it. Okay. Now, next thing you're going to need is some kind of contracting service, right? So DocuSign, PandaDoc, Sign Now, whatever one you like. A lot of people like DocuSign, PandaDoc. They're all good, right? Zendo Sign, Zen Sign, they're all good, right? Just personal preference. I like DocuSign. I think it's tried and true. It's got its things. People love it. So I use DocuSign. But there are other ones that integrate really well, like Sign Now and PandaDoc. They integrate really well with CRMs. So that might be something for you. Okay, so step 7, you've got a contract, you found the property, you got a contract, all that stuff, right? What do you do next, right? Okay, now you have to open escrow. Okay, I'm going to open escrow on a property. What the hell does that mean? Okay, that means I'm basically going to go to a title company, attorney, whatever the case may be, say, hey, I'm looking to purchase this property. Here's the contract. Let's open escrow. Okay, what they're going to start doing is taking a look at the property and making sure the title exchanged hands the correct way. Okay, by doing so, they ensure that when you purchase the property from this deemed seller, you actually pass the deed and nobody else has a stake in claim on that property. Okay, that's the whole goal of it. That's what title does. With land, a lot of times we face sometimes like properties haven't exchanged hands for years. Years, many, many years. Now, most title is 30 years plus one, right? That's your average, right? So 30 years, which is only 1994. It's crazy to think about. Basically, they'll go 30 years plus one transaction. So if the property sold in 1995, they'll go 1995 and then one transaction behind that, which might be like 1976. Okay. It's your average run of the mill title. Now, a lot of times, land might not have changed hands for 50, 60, 80, 100 years. I'm working on a property right now that was originally given to the seller by King George himself in 1714. It's been in the family since 1714. They have the original deed title and everything like that. It's absolutely insane. So we're talking to the seller right now about that, and it's pretty astounding. And I told him, I was like, I want to buy the property just for the deed, just to have the deed from King George himself, and I'm going to hang it right here on this wall. Pretty damn cool, to be honest with you. So we'll see how that one goes. But like something like that, the title work on that type of property is going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be insane. It's not going to be a typical title. I mean, it changed hands, but there's probably so many people that have partial ownership of this property at this point, unless they did change hands the right way. Supposedly, guys sold off some of the acreage before, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, cool. So now you've opened escrow, you're in title, and you're like, okay, well, what do we do now, right? I know 1995 was just yesterday. It's true. So what happens next? Okay, now you're like, I have a deal. Now, how the hell do I fund this thing? How do I get it funded? There's a bunch of different ways, right? Inside Leah, there's a bunch of guys that'll fund deals. There's people I fund some deals myself. But there's parcel funders. You can check them out. They're awesome. There's Inside Leah. We have a bunch. Down below, there's Fund and Grow. Fund and Grow is going to help you actually use business credit to gain credit lines to then purchase property with those credit lines. It's actually a pretty damn cool concept because now you're actually gaining credit, and you're building up your credit lines, and you're actually getting a lot of 0% interest cards. It's actually a pretty damn cool idea. So that's down below too if you want to check them out. I personally have never used them, but I know a lot of guys that do. They loved it, and it's good to just have huge credit lines as a business owner. So that's another way. Me personally, I raise a lot of private capital. We raise a lot of private capital, and we just talk to different people, and we say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. If you want to partner with us, let's chat. We kind of go into the whole thing and draw promissory notes up and everything like that. That's what we do. So that would be funding your deal. Now, there is the option of double closing. Double closing is a whole different parameter. Double closing involves, it's a lot more like speed oriented. You need to be in a really fast paced market for double closes to work really good. Okay. So what I like about double closes is there's less risk associated with actually owning the property because you're not putting somebody's capital to work that might not work out right. Typically, we usually know when a property is going to work out. We could look at it, we could judge, we could see the what's going on in the market and everything like that. We kind of know it's going to work out. So that's double closing. And then what basically that means is double closing. If you guys don't know, double close is basically I'm getting a contract to purchase a property from a seller. And then I take that contract and I go and I get my drone photography. I do basic preliminary title work and all those little nuances. Make sure it's a good property. And then I go ahead and list the property on the market. And I either work with an agent or I list it myself with broker list or something like that. What's the contract look like? Can you double close a property with a mortgage? What's the contract look like? So most land, you'll notice this, a lot of land doesn't have a mortgage on it. It's pretty much everybody owns land just straight out. Now, yes, you can technically double close a property that has a mortgage on it because let's say you have a property contract to purchase a property for $50,000. They have a mortgage for $35,000. Okay, the value of the land is worth $80,000. You're going to list the property for $80,000. Somebody comes in, makes a full cash offer. Great. What you're going to do is you're going to bring it to title. Title is going to make sure everything's clear on the A to B. That's the seller to you. And then you're going to own the property for like 20 minutes. And then that B to C, you to the new buyer, is going to transfer. What happens is you use transactional funding. So like a temporary lender like myself would come in and say, hey, the property you're buying are 50,000 plus closing, that's 52 whatever. I'll transfer to the bank 52,000, or to escrow, transfer $52,000, and they'll close A to B side. They'll pay off the loan, and seller gets a check for $15,000, the difference between the loan amount, the mortgage, and what you're purchasing it for. They get a check, boom, you're done. Now, 15 minutes later, the B to C side closes, and the buyer, the new buyer, comes in and says, here's $80,000. Now, the $80,000 comes into their escrow account, and then they say, okay, well, Dennis transferred $52,000, so let's pay Dennis off. Dennis is paid off, and that difference, that $28,000, is going to go to you, Aaron. Now you get paid $28,000 for selling that property. That's a double close, essentially what it is, in a very simplistic term. There's more moving parts. It's a lot of like little things you got to worry about and whatever. And some states don't, just flat out don't allow it. So you got to kind of watch for that stuff. So that would be our double close route, right? Other times you could do something called pass-through funding, which is becoming a lot more rare, where basically the B to C side closes first, and the new buyer's funds fund the A to B side, okay? And then you just collect the difference in the middle. Very, it's not uncommon, it's just less common, okay? Just because there is some risks associated with that. So a lot of title companies are like, I can't sell somebody a property until the title's transferred the right way. So it's kind of a little weird. A lot of title companies are going away from it. You could still do it. It's a lot more rare. So that'll be that. Now, the next thing, okay, is you funded your property. Okay, you've closed on it. You own it. Yay. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is, what's your exit, right? If your exit is to list it, great, list it. You're going to either list it with an agent, you're going to list it, you could use an agent, you could self-list it with brokerless, or whatever the case you want to do, right? You could list it with an agent, anything you want, or you could just put it on Facebook and hope for the best, right? Or Land ID, Land.com, Landwatch, any of those sites. You can list it on there, okay? And the goal for this is just obviously buy low, sell high, right? You want to sell for more than you purchased it for. Very simple way to put it. That's what we're doing. It's arbitrage. So you're going to list it. Now you're going to wait. You're going to listen to, if you're self-listing it, you're going to have to deal with all the people calling in and asking you the questions and all that stuff. You're going to want to tell them to refer to the county, call the county, and all that jazz. So that's that. Then with the agent listing it, you're going to have to pay them a fee at the end. Obviously, it depends. Some land agents are 5%. They go all the way up to 10%. 10% for land is not uncommon. It's actually fairly common to see a 10% agent in land. But you could shop around. Sometimes you get them for 8. Sometimes you get them for 7, 6. I just got, some for 5 the other day. It's just how it is. Every agent's different. Really cool too, if you don't know this, Land Insights right here. We can go here. We go Realtor Report. Go new county. Let's type in Wake County. Wake County. Unlock report. Here's all the top realtors that are land realtors in Wake County. I don't even have to waste my time. It's all right here. So here's all their info. Here's their this right here would be how many have they sold. All right, so let's see. This guy's sold 18 is the brokerage. Now let's see, like individual agents right here. So Amy Winstead right here. She's sold 12 and active 5. Oh, dumbass. Yeah, sorry. I forgot to stop sharing. Thank you, Aaron. So right here, if you go into Realtor Report, click this, go click Wake County. This will pull all the realtors in the area, okay? You can see active, sold, all that stuff. Here you go. It's all right here. So Amy Weinstead right here. She sold 12. You click her little link. It'll go right to her on Google. And you could just click wherever you want. You can see the types of properties she sold and everything like that. So it makes finding a realtor for land just that much easier, honestly, because we would literally sit here and call everybody on a list. And it was like, oh, God, this is crazy. So now you could just take the tops, call them. Here's Amy right here, crushing it. She sold from anything from 10K to 1.8 million. Good for her. So there you go. So that's Amy. All right here in Land Insights too, which is awesome. So it's just another added benefit. Also, too, I didn't mention this, but when we pull our data, we usually scrub it. Scrubbing it means we remove the inefficient properties, so stuff that's landlocked, stuff that's all different stuff. Landlocked, wetlands, flood zones, no access, things like that. We scrub them all out. So we could do that all right here. If you're texting, you could skip trace right in here too. So you could you could go here, you could scrub, then you could skip trace, and then you could start texting, which is another awesome thing. You could track campaigns, you could go through save filters, all that stuff. Here's markets, all that. So Land Insights damn powerful, which is awesome. Okay, so now you start getting offers in, right? And you're like, I listed the property for 80,000. I bought it for 50. I'm going to make 30 grand. Well, you're getting offers for 65, 70, 72,000, right? And you're like, all right, something's wrong here. Maybe I messed up. So maybe you messed up on your comps. Maybe something happened in the market, or maybe it's just an election cycle, which what we're going through right now. Election cycles screw up markets, and it's temporary, but it comes back. So that's something that does happen. So right now, it's kind of what we're in. We hit sometimes we hit slowdowns, whether it's in the acquisitions or dispositions part. That's with housing, land, anything. It's all the same. Every single presidential election cycle, this is what happens. I've been dealing with it for 15 years, and it's always the same. So I don't get worried about it. It's going to be fine. But with that being said, we've also seen some people that we know have some of the best months they've ever had this past month. So now you're like, okay, I got an offer for 72. This isn't what I wanted. I wanted 80,000 or 90,000, whatever the case may be. Oh, maybe you have to look at your property. Maybe something went wrong. Find out and get some feedback. Okay. The goal here is just to make money. It's not to hold on to a property and try to get the tippity dollar that you can get, right? You're supposed to make money as fast as possible so you could just keep growing and scaling, right? That's the goal. So if you got an offer at 72, you wanted 80, take the 72 and run as long as it's a good cash offer or low contingencies, whatever the case may be. That's what I would do. And then boom, that's the exit. So you've made $22,000 on your first deal, right? All by buying low, selling high. It's essentially what we do. Now, there's a lot more context and a lot more things happening inside this business, but as a quick overview in 38 minutes, that is how you build a 7-figure land business, right? It's just a consistent marketing, scaling, and growing. And that's how you'll build it. It's not rocket science. It doesn't really take a lot. It does take a lot of manual inputs of, constantly checking on data, making sure you're doing the right things. You're going to have to talk to sellers. You're going to have to talk to title companies, agents, all that stuff. Okay. There's a lot of processes in the middle, but as you get further down the road and you get money in your pocket, this allows you to now scale. Okay. And this allows you to add people to your team and hire and grow and do a lot more things, right? There's guys inside Leah that have been doing this. They're on their 3rd and 4th year. And if you ask them, they don't do anything in their business, literally nothing. At this point, their business is running 100% without their inputs because they've consistently built out a team and all that. Everything is done without their inputs. Even Sumner's team at this point is mostly ran by his team. Sumner actually realized, he's done a video about this, he was the bottleneck in his business. The second he was able to step out of that role, he realized that he could grow a lot faster because his business isn't relying on him to make every decision. So at some point, when you've hit 3, 4, 5, 6 deals, or maybe just a number value like $100,000, whatever the case may be, a profit, you could decide, hey, I want to scale myself out. I'm going to start hiring. I'm going to hire a generalist VA. Generalist VA does a lot of your pricing, mailing, things like that, preps all that stuff for you. Okay, awesome. I'm going to hire a acquisitions manager. Boom, hire an acquisitions manager. It's another person. I'm going to hire a dispositions manager. I'm going to hire a transaction coordinator. I'm going to hire this. I'm going to hire that. Boom. And you just scale yourself out of it. And eventually, all you're doing is just tapping into all the little pieces inside the puzzle. So just making sure everything is good. But yeah, that's land investing as a whole. Okay, there's a bunch of tools we use. There's a lot of different processes we go through. But at the end of the day, it's really not that hard. It's just the hardest part about this business is staying consistent and not getting troubled by any of maybe like inefficiencies or any market constraints or anything like that. So, yeah, guys, have any questions while I got people on here? Let's try to answer some questions. Thanks, Arnell. Let me see. This is too. While we're looking up some questions, I want to just take a quick look. Let's just find a specific range. So I'm going to pick a market real quick. Let's see, 5 to 10 acres. Actually, I want to look at 20 to 40 acres. And I want to see how many have sold. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to look at greater than 3, apply, and active. Okay, let's see this. So what I'm just doing now, I'm just looking at some of like the bigger properties. I want to see what's been bigger ones that have sold recently. How can you find markets that have a higher mail response rates? Aaron, I wish I could tell you. There's no way to know what's going to have a higher mail response rate. There's 1,000 different things that are going to come into effect that are that's going to really play into that. It's really hard to say, this market has a better response rate, because then what's going to happen is if we did tell everybody this market has the best response rate, guess what's going to happen? Everybody's going to go mail that market and the response rate is going to tank. So we'll say the hotter markets are going to have way lower response rates. Why? Because when a seller is getting 55 offers on a piece of property they own, they're not going to call everybody, right? They're going to call 1 or 2 people and that's it, if they even want to sell. But if it's something like, like you only get a few, like you're going into a not as busy market, you'll definitely get a higher response rate. But you also have to be cautious, because if you're getting like a 1% response rate, you better start questioning why you're getting a 1% response rate. Is something going on? Did you price the market wrong? You don't know. So that's another thing to think about too. Now, there's a lot of different factors in that, but that's just one that I could think of. That's not the right area. It's in Bali. So let's see. I'm just trying to see which markets. This one has had a bunch of sales. Let's see. Sold in 1 month. Let's see. You got a lot of Oswego. New York County. We got Lincoln. We got Person County. We got Lonoke. You look for hot acreage ranges. Hot acreage ranges of slower counties instead of overall hot counties, maybe. It's all right. So there's a lot of nuances to this question in general. Okay. So like, if you're saying Now, if you go into a hot market, you have a lot of competition, right? So sometimes it's not best to pick the hottest of the hots. Sometimes it's best to pick the hottest of the hots, but then the one right below it. So, right, if the top 10 of the hottest, maybe go to the 11th market. Okay. Just because maybe it's hot, but it's not like on fire. Okay. Because you might not be able to pull a deal out of it unless you price it perfectly or you just hit the lock, right? That's why we kind of try to stay away from like areas like Florida and things like that sometimes because of like if you look at this, let's look at the for sales and we'll look at land for sales. Okay. So for sale land, I'll take out Wake County. Um, you can see right here, when we go to Florida, it's just a hotbed of for sales, right? There's so much activity here that you just get lost in the sauce. So we talk about this a lot, and you don't want to go like too tight in an area. Like if we go here, let's go less than did I put an acreage size? Yeah, let's put no min. Okay. Okay, so looking at an area like this, and you're like, oh my God, it's a hotbed of listings. Like, how are you going to stand out in an area like this? Okay. It's going to be super tough to move a property over here. Now, granted, it's going to happen. A lot of these smart properties do sell. It's just it takes a lot of time. And there's also a lot of competition. A lot of people are mailing these people, calling them, texting them, all that stuff, right? But there's tons of building going on there. So you're going to have a lot of competition in these markets. Doesn't mean it can't happen though. But now looking at this and you're like, okay, well, if I go like right in this area, it's a little bit slower. It's not as much activity as right and left. So looking for hot areas and stuff like that. Obviously, we mostly do rural rec, so this doesn't even mean anything to us. I'm just giving you an example. Um, we're going to look for areas that are slightly less intense, right? So we try to look at stuff that doesn't have as many listed properties and things like that. I think Sumner recommends like under 100 listed or something like that. So it's going to be a lot of different little things. And these are your parameters you're going to have to tweak as you go to personalize your business, right? I can't tell you what you want to do, what I do in my business, because it might be not be what you want to do, right? Could be totally different. So, well, everyone, that's pretty much it for today. I hope this was helpful just to kind of show like the tools that people need, right? There's a lot of little things that are helpful in this business. And I just wanted to break down a lot of the ones that we personally like and use. Do you need a cash buyers list or listing one? No, we do. Sometimes there is cash buyers for properties, or we just list on the MLS, and that's that. And we just let the buyers come to us. You know, land is a different beast than some things. Like there are cash buyers. It's not like wholesaling houses. It's different. So cool. I appreciate everyone hanging out. I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.